What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Ayakashi Triangle, chapter number 56. And I just need to say one thing about this chapter. Realistically, the chapter just goes on a whole sort of they fight and then they run away. So this is going to be the more long-standing, sort of what I've been after for a while now. This isn't a whole we encounter one of the locked up, one of the sealed Ayakashi, we defeat them in 2 chapters deal. This doesn't seem to be that. How long is this going to go on? We don't know, but I love the reveal at the end of this chapter, and because it's sort of timed back into a previous one, probably the longest standing villain up to this point was the same idea. So, but before we get into that, I want to say one thing about my chapter 55 review, which was about probably one of my favorite characters, Ninokuru. Now, Ninokuru was having this character development moment sort of idea, and then it sort of went, oh, no, it can't happen, sort of, because we had that moment in chapter 55 where he was sort of complaining about his weakness sort of idea, and in this moment, in this chapter, he redeems himself in this way, and I absolutely love it, because the Ayakashi version of course, Mei, the medium, it basically says, oh, wow, I can't believe, halfway through the chapter, which really, let's just skip to that part. Because honestly, the first half of the chapter is simply Matsuri sort of getting his butt kicked a little bit here by this thing, with the black origami and all this stuff. And we're getting a little bit of an insight into how this thing sort of happened. How is this Ayakashi manifested? How did it work? And sort of like that. And sort of going along with one of the theories that I had back a few chapters ago when we got the reveal that she was back in some way. It seems to be the negative emotions, of course. Nobody's going to have nice, heartfelt feelings being, drowned like a witch. Sorry, I'm pretty sure the women that were tied to the stone and thrown in the river, they weren't thinking very nice thoughts about the people who threw them over the bridge, right? So we're sort of getting that aspect here, and that's sort of delved into a little bit. Actually, quite interesting. But here, I just love it. Halfway through the chapter, as Matsuri is sort of getting his ass kicked, this is when Ninokuru comes in, shing, and he's just like, wow, okay, so this is where they're all surprised. And they said, I thought you couldn't do anything around a naked woman. And here is what he says. He says, he's shaking, and you can see him trembling and blushing. And he says, my knees feel weak, and my hands are trembling. My heart is about to explode. But still, I'm not just going to stand by and let you kill Kazumaki. He's my friend and my rival. And I'm like, yes, this is what Sanji should have done back in the Black Maria fight. But yes, this is character development. This is what I'm talking about. He's getting over, and not just in a comedic sense, he's actually getting over this thing because now the chips are down. It'd be inexcusable, just like he was talking about before, even though it was comedic at the time, it was inexcusable for that to affect him and put him out of the fight when they were trying to fight one of the sealed Ayakashis before. He felt ashamed and stuff, and this time it initially affected him, and now he's like, yeah, but I have to move on. I have to grow from this experience. I can't let this affect me so much. And I honestly, one of my favorite chapters, I think, in the whole story, because this is actual solid character development. And ironically, not one of the 2 main characters. Usually in a series like this, where you have a limited cast and stuff like that, usually you don't really see that type of characterization or development for a long, long time. Now, you could argue 56 chapters is kind of long. I would say it's not really in the grand scheme of a long-running manga, especially where this one has been mostly comedic and villain of the week sort of storylines. Realistically, I didn't expect to get this kind of character development from anybody outside of like Shirogane, Suzu, and Matsuri. But now we're actually getting some from Ninokuru, and I really, really like that. I think it's impressive that it's happening. I think it's in a small way, and maybe I'm blowing it out of proportion, but after having the cookie cutter Mighty Morphin Power Rangers villain of the week, make my monster grow thing that's been going on for this entire story, having some actual development and some progress made, even in a small way, feels like a mountain, right? It's a hill that feels like a mountain right now, for me anyways. I don't know, how do you guys feel about it? I'm not sure, but this is where we do find out at the end of the day that the pressure, the Ayakashi energy coming from this thing is stupidly impressive, very, very difficult and stuff. So, and they can't really seem to handle it. It's like the spiritual pressure is just weighing them down. So, of course, Matsuri's in a bad way after being pummeled and attacked. So Ninokuro grabs him and just like, we're getting out of here, Matsuri. But of course, as the Ayakashi points out, which we're going to start calling her something exciting and new again, says that you're not so lightning fast when you have a burden to carry, I guess, huh? And sort of idea, because of course he's the fast one, but right now she's still attacking and everything. This is where I'm failing to understand exactly what's going on exactly, but apparently I'm not sure if this is supposed to be who I think it is. Is this supposed to be the original? Like, I don't know who this is. You know what? I'm just going to go on a limb and say that Matsuri knows who this person is, but in some way, because he says, when the black origami are stopped, but then tells them to keep running away, I'll let you go this one time, but be quick about it, Matsuri Kazumaki. Now, who is this person? A little short to be the person that I'm thinking it is, but the hair, the attitude, apparently some recognition from Matsuri, and letting him go. Like, he's going to let them go, but is he working with? There's questions. There's just questions is all I got to say. Shirogane can feel it and everything, but this is where Ninokuro and Matsuri finally, they talk about it's not an icon or an Iyo, it's the highest form, it's a Jinyo. A Jinyo is now back. So, once again, the hardest one. Last time it took Shirogane to go full force, and it wasn't exactly at full power, but full force Shirogane had to come back for them to even have an inkling of a chance against a Jinyo last time. And this time, we seem to have, with her Ayakashi abilities intact, like her Ayakashi medium abilities, which of course she wants to eat Suzu and all this stuff, or devour her or whatever, or take her power so she can fully form. And then we also have, once again, this little boy who seemingly is on her side, but stopped her attack. Are they partners? Is he an underling? Where did he come from? Is he another Jinyo? Because definitely they've confirmed that Mai here is a Jinyo. She's definitely one. So I think Garuku's going to have to get involved. I think we're going to need a little more firepower for this. Shirogane has an uneasy feeling about this. He's got a bad feeling about this. So there's definitely, finally, I feel like, once again, I'm getting my hopes up a little bit here, but it feels like we're starting to really we're making not a long-standing villain by any stretch, but longer than Villain of the Week style, right? Like, this is setting up some good storylines, some good arcs, some development to increase the power scaling, maybe introduce a couple more characters. Like, there's opportunity here, and I'm really excited because Chapter 56 really is pulling out all the stops, pulling out all the punches, right? So I'm pretty excited. I think Chapter 56 is finally a good starting point for greater things to come, assuming that they don't botch this up. I mean, like, realistically, I've gotten my hopes up, as you guys know in the past. I've been getting my hopes up here, there, and everywhere for this series to really, like, take on, like, a really good story arc and stuff, and it just really hasn't happened yet. But this one, maybe this is the start of something really good. So, but what do you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe as always. It's always very much appreciated. Don't forget to drink responsibly as always. As your host with the most, Griever, as always, as I always do. And we will see you guys back here again next time for Chapter 57 of Ayakashi Triangle. See you next time.